Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Mike is dumb. It's the internet, you're busy, so let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is your podcast where we decide everything about the world of games, so you don't have to. I'm your host, Jeffrey Grubb, with me, Mike Minotti.
That's me.
In today's episode, we're going to go over the news, and then we're going to start talking about E3, because E3 is growing. It is spreading.
It's not too early yet.
It's actually not, and I'll explain why once we get closer to that. And I think we're also going to talk about Summer Games Done Quick, just really quickly. I mean, it makes sense, right? We'll talk about it quickly. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm good.
That's not convincing.
We're
doing this in the evening.
Better. I could be a billionaire living on a beach, but as far as the median, quality of life goes, I'll take it.
Okay, so yeah, I want to tell everyone before we kind of get into everything, thank you for joining us. You can get more of me and Mike at GamesBeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email the podcast at GamesPlusPodcast@VentureBeat.com. It's the plus sign. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, you can get more of us in the audio version on iTunes. What is it? Wait, is it not iTunes anymore?
Apparently it's just...
I don't know why I'm asking you. You're worthless.
I don't know. AJ, my brother told me they changed the name. What are they going to? Or,
it's
like
Apple Podcast, I think is what he said on your guys' show.
I don't know.
Okay, that's ridiculous. Google Play, Stitcher. I'm sure if you go to iTunes and you search for the podcast, it's still going to show up. Yeah, I mean, we're catering to an older audience that doesn't know how to set their VCR or get.
Yeah, you guys aren't hip.
Yeah, so exactly. And if you like the show, while you're on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. They're probably not even doing that anymore. Who knows?
They'll have reviews, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? They're changing everything. I finished number 3 in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds twice so far, and it hurts to get that close and come up short.
I hope, the first time I play it, I get to number 1.
I know. I hope so too, because that would make me really mad. But it'd be
it'd be great.
Yeah, it would kind of be great in a way to get that
I'd
anger.
be so happy.
That is the plan. I'm planning to show you and Jason. Jason played it a little bit, I guess, already. But I'm still going to kind of show him the basics of this game. But yeah, I'm still not great at killing other players, but I'm good at surviving long enough to get into those final moments where. The one time was especially heartbreaking because I had plenty of gear, I had plenty of life, but I just didn't realize.
We're good enough.
Yeah, I was terrible. It was a lack of knowledge. Apparently, the force field, the electrical field that comes up and keeps players into a small or keeps them corralled in a smaller and smaller space. It gets more powerful as it goes on later in the game. So I thought I had plenty of health, so that even if I got caught in it for a second, it would just chip away at it. But I was crawling, getting ready to go into the safe zone. I was right on the outside edge of it, and all of a sudden I'm dead because it chipped away a huge chunk of it. And I was number 3, and I totally had it. I could see the other guys fighting. I would have won that match if I just wasn't so dumb. So yeah, that's killing me. That's taking up a lot of my time, though. That game's
sounds
easy.
Like you blew it, basically.
Yeah, and then I immediately played 5 more games and did so terrible, and it was a death spiral from that point down. But yeah, that is that kind of game where it is one more match over and over, and it's taking up a lot of my time.
What's the average? What's the average length of a match?
I mean, I would say if you get to the end, 30 minutes. But if you're dying pretty quickly, I mean, it could be 2 minutes, 5, 10.
So it's about 5 minutes for you, but
I've had more 5-minute games than anything else. That's for sure. I mean, if you try to play it clever and you try to get to a point where you are sticking away from the battles, not trying to go out and get a million things. If you are staying inside once you know you're safe and listening for people approaching, you could survive really easily for a long time. It's just not that part's not that fun. So you kind of want to get out there and put your, fortune favors the bold, Mike.
You don't want to be a camper.
Exactly. Yeah. Although it actually is a
Although I'm sure it's a great strategy.
It's a great strategy. Absolutely. Okay. We should probably just get into the news unless you have anything new that you've been playing, Mike.
No, I mean I've been playing Wonder Boy, the Monsters Curse on Switch.
Okay, well, real quick, I actually am curious. How is that? That's
it's super cool. It's like,
about.
yeah, because I mean the original game is just something I never played because it was a Sega Master System game.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like Sega's like weird take on what maybe like a not I don't even want to say Metroidvania because there is no like Symphony of the Night, just like Metroid, what their kind of version of Metroid would be. I don't know saying it's Sega's is right because I don't think they made it necessarily. I think it's just on their system. But
yeah, but there's a sort of a Genesis Master System type of game, and I mean it was exclusive, but it was also one of those types of games where it looked very much like it came from the Sega ethos.
Oh yeah, a bit. Yeah, because I think you assume you were like me and a lot of people in the U.S. Like when we had Genesis, we didn't even know the Master System existed.
Yeah, no way.
So there's no way I was ever gonna be able to play this game. So I didn't really know that much about it. But playing it now, it is super cool. I mean, there are things of it that have aged. Like there are some kind of like nonsense gamey things about it, but like it's actually kind of fixed a bit with the new art style. Like it's one of those games where you can switch between like the original look and like this new hand drawn art that actually looks really nice, and like the newer art they kind of make like some areas more clear, like what's going on there and whatnot. But I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. It is this kind of interesting like look at like the early days of non-linear platforming, and it's got some actually it's still got some and it has some neat ideas in it even still. Like this whole like you're cursed and you're turning into these different animals and they have different abilities, and that's kind of the Metroid aspect, right? Like you need certain animals that get past certain things and whatnot.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about buying that one. I think I actually will end up buying it. I don't want to get out of hand buying games for the Switch because I'm still haven't finished Snake Pass. I haven't gotten all 120 shrines in Zelda, which I intend to do. I'm trying to play through 200cc on Mario Kart and things like that. So I have games that I own already and I should be playing before I buy some other stuff. So we'll see. That's how I am with Persona 5 still. I'm still in a holding pattern with that while I get some other
Are you getting Puyo? Oh, did you review or do something with Puyo?
Yeah, I didn't want to. I mean, the game's been out for a long, long time in Japan, and it's kind of the exact same thing. I did some coverage of it. I don't think I'm going to review it, but I would say.
But the point is, you have it. You don't have to buy it tomorrow.
Yes, exactly, and I do really like it. It's the combination of those two things you think wouldn't work well together, but Mike, they're two great tastes that taste great together.
There you go.
So anyone who doesn't know Puyo Puyo, it's Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, color matching.
Kirby's
Avalanche. It's color matching, trying to get pieces together. If you get at least 4 together, they disappear, and then the other pieces round a cascade. So the whole point is to set up combos. So you're cascading 1, 2, 3, 4 things together. So that these 4 pieces are coming together and exploding. And it's played in a versus setting, so that when you get these higher combos, they punish your opposing player. But the thing is, your opposing player could be playing Tetris, or you could be playing both Tetris and Puyo Puyo on the same thing at the same time. And what it does is the Puyo pieces come down, and then you might start getting Tetris pieces. And the Tetris pieces have this thing where they are like they're a denser buoyancy. So when you put them down, they like go right through the Puyo Puyo pieces, and they set up on the bottom, so you can still make lines there across the bottom. And then there's another mode where it switches periodically from Puyo Puyo to Tetris, and then back and forth, and your Puyo Puyo stage remains the same. It's like in stasis while you go play Tetris for a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds super cool.
It is intense in a way that like I really found my brain tickling from playing it.
It's something like maybe I wouldn't get this if like it wasn't coming on kind of a shiny new system that I would like to have another game for. But, it's like
I think we talked about this last week, like those Steam sale games. I think it might, if it was on PC, I think it would be ideal for something like that. It's something I'd probably put in my library and maybe not play for a very long time, if ever. But I'm glad it's on the Switch, and I'm glad I'm playing it because it is a game that deserves some time and some appreciation. It is pretty cool. It has a whack story mode where they talk a lot. And
the Puyo Puyo games do have story modes. I think that's a thing with them. Yeah.
Yes, totally. And so they brought all those characters together with these Tetris characters, the characters of Tetris, which is a thing in this game at least. And are they
Russian?
No, they're from space.
Oh.
So yes,
Boo.
I mean same thing, right? And they argue and then they settle their differences with Puyo Puyo and or Tetris.
Sounds like an episode of Pokemon.
It feels like an episode of anime. Yeah.
Anime. You know what I wish was on Switch now is that Hollow Knight game everyone's going on about?
Yeah, that one looks good.
The Metroidvania.
I wish the Flint Hook game was on there.
I guess Hollow Knight is coming to Switch, but like we don't know when.
Yeah.
Which one's Flint Hook?
Flint Hook's like the one where it's also a retro platformer, but it's also a rogue light sort of game, and you have a grappling hook. So a combination.
There's all these like great platforms coming out, and like I still need to play Owlboy, but again, I'm waiting for that to kind of come out for a system. Like I don't really want to play these games for whatever reason on Steam. I don't know why. When it's like
those
a
games,
retro platformer, I want to play it on a console.
I mean, I will play. I think it may be a little bit more willing to do that than maybe you, because I have the Steam box. What is it called? The one that streams to your TV, Steam Link.
Yeah, I have that thing, and I do not like it.
Yeah, so I have it set up with like a pretty decent connection, and it ends up working okay a lot of the times these days. And it works like with my Xbox One controller right out of the box every time now because they've updated it.
You're not using your Steam controller?
No. I don't even know where that thing is. I think every time I have to turn on the Steam Link, I think I actually have to find it so I can turn it on, and then I lose it again immediately. But I'll play those games on the TV downstairs, but like, for example, I'm going to play that Zelda fan remake of the Breath of the Wild prototype. I'm going to play that on the TV downstairs. I'm looking forward to that because it works with the controller.
You think if you asked Valve if they thought that controller was kind of a failed experiment or just a failed product, I guess not really much of an experiment, do you think they'd be honest about that, or do you think they would deflect that a bit?
I think they would find some middle ground between those two options. I think they would say,
I guess.
I think they'd be like, "Hey, nothing's a failure because we're always learning from everything we do." In fact, I know that's what they would say. I'm pretty sure. Like, I should have asked Davos about. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. I should have asked it. I know, but it's a good question. But probably one of the reasons I didn't ask it is because that's exactly what they would have said, and we all know it.
Yeah. You should have pressed it. No, it's shitty, and you know it.
Yeah. Tell me it's shitty.
Tell me how bad your controller was.
Hey, tell me how bad you messed up. Yeah, okay, Mike, let's get into
All right.
Yeah, let's jump right here into We Were Wrong, apparently. Last week...
I really didn't see this coming.
Me neither. No,
it was going to be SNES, because it makes no sense to discontinue the NES Classic. Like, those two products could exist at the same time.
I think the problem is we were talking as two rational people.
And it's Nintendo.
Yeah, it's Nintendo that we're talking about here. So
and this is still a rumor. It's just like a pretty... This is like, people are saying the Switch is going to be a portable home console hybrid rumor.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Yeah. So, okay, we should tell people what it is. So last week we said we announced the news that the NES Classic Edition is being canceled, discontinued. Nintendo's going to stop making it. In fact, I think this very morning, the last shipment went out to Best Buy, and there were people lined up, of course.
Yeah,
one per customer.
Lined up here.
Me and Mike were like, okay, they're going to come out with a new version of the NES Classic that is a little bit different, that they could sell for maybe a little bit more money with different games. It doesn't sound like that's going to happen, according to a rumor from Eurogamer. They say their sources claim that Nintendo is already manufacturing the SNES Classic for this holiday, and that is one of the primary reasons why Nintendo stopped making the NES Classic Edition.
So here's the mixed feelings on this, right? I cannot wait to own an SNES Classic.
Oh, yeah.
That is going to be fantastic. And now we really know, man. You better pre-order one of those.
They didn't even, you couldn't pre-order the first one, though.
That's
so,
right. Well, you get in line then.
Yes.
You get in line that first shipment.
Yeah, that's going to be a nuts thing to witness, is the lines for that thing. But yeah,
it's still it is this thing like, why was the NES Classic Edition discontinued? Are they really just that obsessed? Do they just love the idea that people are clamoring for it, and they just like to the point where they never want there to be that gratification?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
maybe you know what? This doesn't mean that there isn't going to also be an NES Classic Edition 2.0. That could still happen. I guess it seems a little weirder.
It'd be weird if they went, especially if it's not out this holiday and they come out next holiday and it comes out after the SNES Classic runs its course. To go back to the NES is going to feel a little weird.
Right.
But, I mean, no, you're right. It could still happen. And it should, because clearly it's a way to make money, and it serves a different audience than the virtual console. So it's this overlap that people keep claiming Nintendo's worried about. Nintendo has to know that's not a problem, right? Because it's not the same audience.
It's not a problem. I don't know if they know that it's not a problem.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, rational thinking adults. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Just let people buy those things that they want to buy from you. It's weird. I
Yeah.
can't wait though, man. Give me that SNES
Yeah.
Classic edition.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because like that thing, like you give me Super Metroid, Link to the Past, Mario World. Pretty much everything else is gravy,
Yeah,
right? I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah, yeah, and you do those and with an HDMI port on the back, so that
oh
it
my
looks really
god.
great on your modern TV and everything. Yeah, I mean, I will literally as soon as that thing comes out, I'm gonna be like, I'm playing all three of these games again right
Oh
now.
yeah, God.
Yoshi's Island as well. We don't have to go through the
Yeah.
list because every single person on the internet made their own list.
Yeah, me and AJ on the Exploding Bro podcast. Check that out. Last episode, we came up with 30 games.
Yeah, it was a
Pretty
good.
good
I
list.
liked your guys' list, but like I even like came up with the idea in my head, like I should just do one of these fake lists where I come up with a bunch of fake Super Nintendo games that sound like they would have been real things, but everyone knows they're a joke. But I think like two or three people also did that as well.
Oh man.
It was an absurd like gold rush on those stories last week. But
We're
yeah,
gonna find some exciting new list angle to do
yeah,
on this.
exactly. We got a mine for listicles.
We're gonna come up with a list for the 30 games to be in the TurboGrafx 16 Classic Edition.
Exactly.
Which we could do it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you like shooters, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Story.
Oh, TurboGrafx had more than shooters.
No, I
going
know,
on.
but like half of them are going to be shmups, right? I mean,
Yeah, but there's that.
you know what? No, we'll come back next week. That'll be our
There's two. There was two great bonk. That was back when Bonks games were actually exciting and not just
Yes,
some
that's
weird
true. And
novelty.
it was
Bonks
Bonks,
was fantastic.
Bonks games were the games where I was like, man, I wish I had a TurboGrafx because that looks really awesome. I have a stupid Nintendo.
Jeff, I had a TurboGrafx.
What was that like?
Weird, because you never got that many games for it because it was like in stores for like 4 months, and then I guess and there's no eBay, so it's like I guess I'm not buying any more TurboGrafx games.
Guess I'm playing Bonks again.
Yeah. I tell you what, I played a lot of Bonks.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
I went back and played Bonks after like years of like coveting it.
Good games,
and it was still very good. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, the next two stories, we're going to combine them. Bayonetta hit 100,000 copies on Steam in 1 week. This is an ongoing story now, this Bayonetta port to the PC, where it was teased, it came out, and now it is being successful, which clearly indicates that they should just keep doing this. And guess what? Today, Bayonetta got a 22 kilobyte patch on Steam. People went through the files, they dug through and tried to find out what was different in these 22 kilobytes, and it was an image of the main character from Vanquish, which is what we mentioned last week. This is the next game they should do. So it does feel like they are teasing this. Sega, who is the publisher of that game, has said that they want to keep doing these kinds of things. So this is one of the ways to do this kind of thing, and I'm very excited because that's a game I want to play so bad in 4K. On my PC. Ooh, I want to play that.
This is a game that I haven't played before, and I've heard so many things, and I know I would like it. And just from hearing how well they did the Bayonetta PC port, I'm very excited. To try this.
Yeah, those are the kinds of games that feel like they should have been backward compatible on Xbox One. Is Bayonetta backward compatible?
I don't think so, but maybe I can check.
I wonder if there's going to start being a caliber of game that is good enough that you would think, oh, why isn't it backward compatible? But
Bayonetta was added in September.
Okay. So but Vanquish has not been, and I wonder if they're going to simultaneously make that backward compatible on Xbox One if they release it on the PC. I think that would be a good idea, and maybe they would sell a bunch there, or who knows.
So. That 100,000. I mean, how expensive do you think it is for them to make these PC ports? Is this pretty much? Is this like pure profit, or is it not quite like that ridiculous for them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking from a complete place of ignorance, I think, but I from what I understand, it should be not pure profit, but a pretty good deal because PC is a pretty similar architecture, even to the 360. They should be able to, especially in the engines that they're building these games in. I'm pretty sure Platinum still uses a lot of the same tools. So they've already kind of done a lot of the work for other games. So going back and putting the hooks into Bayonetta, bringing it forward to some of the stuff they've done shouldn't have been too hard. It shouldn't have required too many people. So yeah, they probably made quite a big chunk of change on this.
Here's what kind of one last talking point on this. So it seems like a pretty good year for Platinum, right? People are really buying into them.
Platinum's kind of. I mean, it's always been a studio that people have loved, but it definitely seems like it's reaching some new echelon.
Right. And you have Nier as the PlayStation 4 exclusive really doing super well. So
Super well.
do you think Microsoft is like being just a little bit more kind of regretting that whole canceling Scalebound thing?
I mean,
especially when it seems like they don't have that much on the. I'm sure they got things we're going to hear about. We're going to talk about later, probably in this E3 thing. But it just seems like there would have been even more of an excitement around Scalebound now than there would have been before, because it would have basically been the next big Platinum Games project.
I wish we knew why they canceled that game.
It has to just be that it was just the development was going slow and it was expensive, and they cut the cord when they wanted to. They looked at it and they had some accountants crunch numbers on how much money they think it would make.
Yeah,
and if it was
they're like, oh, this is going to be a Recore situation or something like that. I mean, just fucking support these games. Like, Recore obviously ran out of money. That was a good game in the first half, the first couple of hours.
Yeah, no, Recore was kind of disappointing because it felt like there was something there, and I think if they kind of were able to go further with it, just have like another, I don't know, whatever it needed. You hate to say like a year or whatever, I don't know.
Right.
But if more work could have been done, it could have been special, and instead it was just kind of a
To your point though, I mean, I would hope Microsoft is regretting it. If I'm Microsoft, or I'm a huge Microsoft fan or something like that, my hope is that Microsoft doesn't cut the cord with Platinum, and my hope is that Microsoft supports Platinum and says, here, what do you need to make this to get to the finish line with this and make it awesome? Now, that's not the position that Sony's in, because I don't think Sony is paying for the development of Neo and Nier and all these exclusives they got through the first half of this year. It just turned out that Japanese developers all put their games together over the last couple of years and they came out. So Sony isn't having to spend that money in the way Microsoft probably should be, but Microsoft is not doing that either. So it's just kind of hurting the Xbox One in terms of its exclusives. And unless they have a huge E3, I mean, why would you go out and buy a Scorpio if it's not the place where you're going to get, every great game from third parties and then at least a couple of cool exclusives that aren't Halo and Gears of War.
Right. But now there's got to be somewhat of a shortage of Halo and Gears of War.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. Yes, we will get to that, but it might take longer than you expect. I'll explain when we get there. Whatever. Yes. So next story, the original StarCraft has been patched for the first time in 8 years and is now free. This is the lead up to the StarCraft HD remaster. This is not the HD remaster. This is the original StarCraft game. I think the story is interesting for kind of one particular reason. Whenever an HD remake comes out, the developers never make the original free.
Right.
They don't ever give it away.
Seems counterproductive in a way, right?
I think that's just Blizzard. They're like, hey, no, we know this is not going to eat into this. People are going to want the HD remaster.
It's like an anti-Nintendo reaction.
Exactly. It's a sort of confidence in understanding that, yes, is the bizarro world version of Nintendo. Exactly. But yeah, I think it's indicative of where Blizzard wants to take StarCraft, where it thinks the HD remaster can go. And I think it's just a confident move, saying, hey, we believe hardcore in what we're doing with remaster in terms of its online infrastructure and its visuals and its ability to play like the original.
There kind of has to be a point where a PC game is just kind of so old to a point where, especially if it was one that had like that big of a run, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Just make it free at this point.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to pay $5 for StarCraft one right now?
No, but you'll pay $5 for Super Mario Brothers 3 again.
Yeah, we will, for sure.
Yeah.
It's different.
Uh-huh.
I wish I was more personally excited for this, because I always tell you, like, RTS has always been kind of my gaming kryptonite. So.
Yeah. It's just not my brain. Yeah,
give me Diablo 2 for free, and I'll be all about it. But
for real. Yeah, do you think they would do that if they do Diablo HD remaster?
I think they will, because I think Diablo 2 HD remaster, maybe Diablo 1, maybe they'll do that first. But Diablo 2 seems to be the one that people have the most kind of affinity for. Mm-hmm. If they're going to do it to StarCraft, I think they'll do it to Diablo 2 at some point.
Last story, Rocket League has...
Rocket My Liege. My Liege. That's their new ad campaign.
Don your Rocket, My Liege. Has reached 30 million players. That's pretty impressive. This is one of those games that definitely came out of nowhere, stuck its landing, and just has built in popularity ever since. It's regularly one of the top 10 most played games on Steam, almost nonstop. I mean, this is a different kind of era for gaming, and I think this is one of an example of that. Now, I mean, there was always, like we just talked about, one of those games, StarCraft, where it has this huge player base that plays it forever and ever, and it's like the one game they play. But it feels like nowadays there are more of those kinds of games than ever before, and they are of a more varied genre and type than ever before. And Rocket League is an example of that.
Right, no, for sure. Especially on that PC
Yes.
scene, it seems like. Which because Rocket League we thought of as more of a PlayStation 4 exclusive for a while.
Yeah,
and
but
now it really seems to have the largest presence on Steam.
I mean, and it's nuts because it came out as PlayStation Plus, like a free game on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's what helped.
But then on PC, where it was never a free giveaway for any reason, it has definitely usurped the PlayStation 4 version. It's kind of...
It does seem to be one of those two games that, like a lot of games, they kind of seem like they come out on PlayStation Plus because maybe there's like a lack of confidence, like almost like with Drawn to Death. Right?
Yeah, Drawn to Death.
Or it's like, or like it's a game that's kind of past its prime. Like this is like the one example of a game that like kind of got noticed because of the PlayStation Plus thing.
I should play Drawn to Death just so I can speak to it.
You have fun with that.
Yeah.
You do the science on that one.
Yeah. I can't. Did you play it at all, or I can't remember.
I played it at an E3 once, and I just found it oppressively not something I would like.
I played it at the PlayStation Experience, the first one where it made its debut, and I was like, it seems like it has a long way to go. And I was watching a video the other day, and it's like, nope, it was exactly this, like forever ago, like multiple years ago. What? I don't want to like revel in that game's apparent failings, but it's hard to not.
No, I don't want to pick on it, but
no, I know, but it's hard not to like sort of like have a gleeful like what were they thinking mentality.
It is right, like what? Come on.
All right, Mike. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to an ad break. That means we say goodbye for a little bit, and we'll be right back. Is that okay with you?
No,
I don't care.
Quit.
I don't care.
Right.
Shut up.
You knew I was gonna say no. Why do you even ask?
And now we're in an ad break. Can you even handle this?
No.
It says, I consider our sponsors.
Oh, this is the ad.
Yeah, this is the ad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just happens.
It's not pre-recorded. All right, what am I selling people?
I think we should sell people on the very last week before you can get tickets for the GameSbeat Summit, because it's happening next week, right?
It's happening. It's happening on May 1st, May 2nd in Berkeley at the... What's it called?
I can't even remember.
What's the venue?
I can't remember the venue, actually. So I wrote down the...
I know everybody who lives in San Francisco is very excited about the venue. Like, everyone I talk to, like, oh, it's at that place. It's very nice.
Yeah,
like,
the place.
Cool.
Yeah. So why do we have to say it if they all know? Like, everyone who's probably been to an event in Berkeley probably knows what we're talking about, so we don't have to know it.
Better have a Cheesecake Factory somewhere around
yeah,
there.
that's all that matters to us. If you come, you're going to hear speakers like Star Wars, Rogue One scribe Gary Whitta, Epic CEO Tim Sweeney, and a ton more. Dean keeps telling me to tell our audience, because he thinks our audience is a bunch of brutes, about the Call of Duty developers, Sledgehammer Games. They're making a Call of Duty World War II. We just found that out like this past week. That probably should have been a news story, shouldn't it?
Yeah, we're not even talking about that. Yeah. Well, they just said it's happening.
Yeah. Big surprise.
This is an ad break. This isn't the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are interested, check out VentureBeat.com/events for more. If you want to get a discount, that's probably not even a thing anymore, because tickets they're about to like go off sale, because the thing is happening any day now. But you can still try to get that discount by tweeting us at VentureBeat or at GamesBeat or at GB Decides podcast. And we're gonna get back to the episode in just one moment. Mike, we're going to jump into our two big topics. The first one, it's not really a huge topic. I wanted to put it in news, but really I'm excited about it, so I wanted to talk about it. Summer Games Done Quick 2017, the schedule came out.
Yes, it did.
Have you taken a look at this to see any games?
Yeah, I've studied it quite extensively. So
what are you excited about?
Oh, yeah. Well, for those who don't know,
go ahead. That's a good idea.
So Summer Games Done Quick, it's Games Done Quick. It's a biannual week-long marathon, like 24 hours a day for 7 days of video game speedruns. Speedruns are when people just try to play through a game as fast as can, depending on like certain conditions. Like sometimes you have to do it without getting any glitches. Sometimes you have to collect all the items. Sometimes it's just as fast as you can, as long as you get to the credits, right? And it's this whole kind of thing. It's kind of like an offshoot of like the Twitch community, right? Like this stuff kind of became more popular because it's now a spectator sport. And it's not like on the level of esports, but And personally, it's something I'm more interested in.
Same here. And the people that watch it are just as engaged and enthusiastic as an esports fan, sometimes even more. I mean, they are going to this event for a week at a time. This one's in Minneapolis, I think. And they're just, they get a hotel room and they hang out with their friends and they watch speedruns nonstop, like 24 hours a day. For this week-long thing. It's a really cool event. And they raise the money for charity. I don't know if
Plus, Spike Vegeta's just dreamy.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's who I would like to get on the show, like one of those guys, like Spike Vegeta or Poexel or something.
It stinks because every year I hope they come back to Denver because the year I moved here, they were holding it right then, the Summer Games Done Quick, right in Denver. And I was moving into all my stuff, so I couldn't make it. I'm like, I'll just go next year, and they haven't been back since. So it's been very frustrating because I would like to go talk to
they've never really been around my area. So
yeah,
at some point.
Okay, but let's take a look at this list. If there's anything
real quick, it's for charity. Like people donate the whole time. They raise like over $1 million pretty much every time these days.
Mm-hmm.
This one is for
Doctors Without Borders.
Doctors Without Borders. Yeah, that's very cool.
What's the other one? What's the other one raise money for?
It's just one of the cancer foundations.
That's right.
It's one of those. I forget the exact name.
Like Stop Cancer or something.
Yeah, one of those cancer. Go away.
Yeah, end cancer. My liege.
You always go back because anytime anybody like does something for any kind of like cancer foundation, there's always people now who are like, that those people are just raising for quote unquote awareness. And they're not really doing any good. It's like one of those arguments you're just tired of hearing about.
Yeah, I mean for sure. I've grown pretty good at tuning those people out just because they're so ridiculous. But yeah, I have grown tired of that for sure. It's also like a kind of a lame joke too. Like, I'm aware of it. Of course I'm aware of breast cancer. I know all about breasts.
It's like all the people who are like posting on Facebook about how annoyed they were by the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, meanwhile, it's like, oh no, that Ice Bucket Challenge actually raised money. I was like, no, it's just stupid. Keyboard activism. I'm better than that.
Oh yeah, see, yeah, and it's very. You're right. It's very frustrating because no, it actually super duper works. But yeah, exactly. So I'm
anyways, the schedule.
We could just complain about all the things that bother us, Mike. But yeah, let's. Why don't you tell me first?
Jeff's number one on my list. Anyways,
tell me what stands out to you on this thing.
Well, it's pretty cool. One of the what they're opening with is something that I think is going to become a speedrunning standard. Is Nier Automata.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. 2 hours is the expected runtime, which is on the longer side for one of these speedruns.
Oh, apparently this guy's speedrun is really cool. Jeff, it's 2 hours one-handed. He's playing it.
Holy shit! God, that's right.
And apparently this is like his standard. It's like a really cool run. They have a lot of heavy hitters on the first day, as they tend to. You have Halo 1 on Legendary Mode, Metroid Prime, Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night's always one of the best. Anything that's... Because Super Metroid's like the quintessential speedrun game, and Symphony of the Night's basically like the next Super Metroid.
Mm-hmm. So they often have races for those kinds of games. I don't think this is a race. It's just Dragon Blitz is running it. But yeah, I love watching anything along those Super Metroid lines. But Luigi's Mansion's coming on before that, and that's also one of my favorites just because people get pretty wild for that one. It's not a game you think of that would have this huge audience outside of speedrunning, but in the speedrunning community, people go nuts for it. And when they finish it and the credits play, everyone in the crowd and all the runners get up and they do a huge dance that I love it. I kind of go nuts too and do the dance in my house when I'm watching it on Twitch. So I'm looking forward to that one. How about on the day 2? Is there anything stick out to you?
On day 2, sorry, I was scrolling down.
No, yeah, day 2. If you have anything else, yeah.
Well, day 2 is good because you kind of have this PlayStation 1 platformer block. You have Crash Bandicoot, followed by Spyro Year of the Dragon, and then Ape Escape 1. The Ape Escape run is actually really interesting. That's a fun one.
I haven't watched that one, but I've heard people that really like that.
There's a lot of weird tricks with it. It's funny how Ape Escape was a game designed to show off how cool it would be if a controller could have 2 analog sticks.
Yeah, man, that day and that time or that era of gaming, anyhow,
it was the Wild West. It was great.
Yeah, exactly. People didn't know what to do with these friggin' analog sticks. I like earlier in the day. These are 2 games that I've always had a curiosity about, but I've never really taken the time to learn them. And now I'm just going to do it through Summer Games Done Quick. ActRaiser and EVO Search for Eden. People always talk up these games as like secret, awesome games on the Super Nintendo. And I'm going to finally sit down and see if these speedruns give me any illumination of why that is.
Yeah, I'm actually, I don't know as much about EVO, but I do always hear about ActRaiser.
They're both,
one of those games I'm always kind of looking for, and I go to these secondhand shops, and looking at it even now, it looks freaking sweet. It's like dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like an evolution sort of.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like supposed to be really awesome, and I think it's one that I would like more than ActRaiser. I've actually tried to play ActRaiser, and I just couldn't get back past the beginning levels where it's still.
It's a weird game. It's ActRaiser. It's
turns into like a city builder.
It's half city builder, half side scroller.
Yeah, so. I think that's like this block clearly is like games that feel like they should be on PC but are on Super Nintendo. Let's see. We can move on to day 3. Anything jump out to you?
Day 3, Jet Set Radio Future. So I've seen a Jet Grind Radio speed run, which was super fun. I haven't seen one for the sequel yet, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. And then this is Pokemon Heartgold Soulsilver 80%. That's going to take about 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's the remake of Gold and Silver. Probably the best Pokemon games. And then you have Doom, the new Doom, All Secrets. And last year they kind of ran Doom back when it was a new game, kind of like Nier. So this will be kind of more refined, I think, in this kind of more interesting category.
Yeah,
Doom is like another game.
Yeah.
Doom was like a game last year that kind of broke out as like this is going to be a big hit in the speedrunning community. Yeah,
and that's one of the ones I was going to pick out. I'm very curious to see the All Secrets run. I think that could be especially interesting. I wonder, what does it mean when they say Pokemon Heartgold and Soulsilver? Does it just mean...
I think it just... I'm sure they're picking one or the other. It's this... I think they don't want to say one or the other so people know.
Yeah.
They're the same games, right? It's just whatever Pokemon appear in them.
I like the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater block anytime. Any of those extreme sports games are always fun to watch. I like Trials in the past. They've done those, and it's pretty incredible. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I imagine, is going to be equally incredible, especially all goals and golds, because then you have to see how they, in one run, do a perfect run to get the high score on the first time. I'm looking forward to that. And I Am Bread, which is a weird game where you control a piece of bread.
Yes, I do know I Am.
Yeah, I think is going to be pretty cool to see as well. I want to see how great these guys are at controlling a piece of bread.
And look what's right under it. It's Hollow Knight. Speak of the devil, already showing up.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, if you make a Metroidvania, man, it's probably going to get a speed run.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's almost without a doubt. Okay, let's see. I forget what day we're on, but the next day, July 5th.
I think it's day 4. Well, you have a small classic Castlevania block of 2 of my favorite Castlevania games. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse for the NES, Trevor only, so no switching characters. And then Castlevania Rondo of Blood, Richter 80%, so pretty much standard mode for that one. Rondo of Blood's kind of like the weird precursor to Symphony of the Night. It's super fun. You also have Startropics, one of my favorite NES games.
I might watch that because I've never played Startropics.
Startropics is like so interesting because it's like the Nintendo NES game that just did not become a franchise like everything else.
Do you think
even Kid Icarus got a little love later?
Do you think Startropics ever comes back? Do you think they ever just like, hey, here's one for the real thing?
The one reason why it won't was because it never even got released in Japan. It was like this weird thing they only released in Europe and America. So that's the only reason why. Yeah, they're not going to bother. And then you have a Mega Man X block. There's no classic Mega Man block. I think they're doing Mega Man 4 by itself one of these days, which is a small bummer for Mega Man like me.
That shirt was made for you. But
I know, right? When I saw this thing.
Yeah, that's incredible. I like the Kirby block. Robobot is one I haven't played yet. I keep meaning to because I hear it's really great.
It's great. I'm actually still playing it. I was just playing a little bit last night. I just did I think it's like the second to last boss. These days boss fights aren't that great. Right. This is a great boss fight. It's like the only 3DS game series, these Kirby games, that actually care about the 3D anymore and like have some fun with it. And it's actually kind of refreshing.
I like this at the end of the day, this RPG block, Oblivion, Divinity, Original Sin, Might and Magic 6, Ys. I never know how to say it.
It's just Ys Origin.
I always love to see how these RPGs that are meant to be these sprawling, massive experiences get turned on their heads and are beaten in 30 or 40 minutes. That's always pretty great.
And then, that next day, this might be the one I'm looking forward to the most because I haven't seen this yet. Tiny Toons Adventures, Buster Bust Loose. Have you ever played this game?
Yes, one of my secret favorite games. Absolutely,
it's so good.
Yes. And all the Tiny Toon Adventure games are, but this one's amazing.
And it seems like built for speedrunning because the whole mechanic is like this run meter thing it has going on. You kind of can run up walls. You have to perform these quick jumps to keep it going. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that might actually be like one of those games that breaks out and people start noticing more because it should be. I mean, I guess it's 3:58 in the morning, but or at least for me. But I hope that people share videos of it because it's gonna be pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool.
And
Um,
then, oh,
yeah, go
sorry.
ahead. No.
Well, the end of that day, you have Link to the Past, pretty classic game, all dungeons, swordless.
Oh wow.
So not allowed to use the sword. It's gonna beat the game with that. And it kind of starts this whole Zelda block. You have Zelda 2, Venture Link after that, and then Link's Awakening DX. So that'll be
Oh
fun.
man, I love Link's Awakening. I'll be watching
Oh
that
yeah.
one for sure. The Tetris Grandmaster block, like you have to. Like that's just it's so insane to see how well these people play this game. Uh, you hear like, and it's like there's like 8 people in this thing, and they all come up and there's an 8-way 100% race. Like I don't know how you race in Tetris, but like maybe they race to a certain amount of lines like removed. But the way that they play it is like magic. If they look like they are on another plane of existence, and you have to see it if you haven't seen it before. So it's definitely like a must watch, and it's why it's in prime time, and then like in the middle of the evening on that night. So yeah, definitely catch that.
And here's a couple that are interesting to me. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. I like Kingdom Hearts. But
Terrible
the
games.
Super Mario series Warpless Relay Race. Relay Race. It doesn't say which games they're going to. Probably at least the first 3. And this is going to be nuts. These relays are kind of becoming more popular. You don't see a whole lot of them in games not quite yet. I think they did Donkey Kong Country 1 earlier this year. Yeah, so
it's going to be phenomenal. That's like they're predicting 3 hours for that. That's
yeah.
And that's on Friday. Man, it's like I'm gonna have to like try to get work done earlier that day so I could just start watching that.
And this is interesting. Super Metroid is on this day. They are not doing it as the last, even like kind of the last day this time.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they say Super Metroid.
Yep, but it's the day before the last, and it's a race. And the Super Metroid races are always awesome, no matter what.
And then basically just that entire like night like area is Final Fantasy 7, any percent, 8 hours.
8 hours. I think that's the longest one by far. Like more than twice any other game.
They've done this before. They did a Final Fantasy 9 Spirit one time. I think they split it up into 2 days actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's I just love the idea of putting in a full work day of 8 hours speedrunning a game.
Like how do you learn that?
I don't know. Yeah, what is your life where you're learning how to do that?
I mean, love it. I want that life.
No, yeah. I mean, that sounds incredible. Do you think that they'll ever do Breath of the Wild like 100% on
I'm actually surprised there isn't at least a Breath of the Wild any percent. I'd be shocked if it wasn't it might be a donation incentive or something.
That's probably right. Yeah, that sounds right because it's so fast. I think they've gotten it down to 40 minutes that you could do it as a donation incentive and slot it in there pretty easily. Now, my understanding is the record for the 100%. Getting everything in the game is like 45 hours or some shit like that.
Right. Well, that's going to get refined, but
yeah, no, totally.
It can't be too much more because to do everything, you still have to go to those places.
Yeah,
which is a lot of places to go to.
Man, that's yeah, that's something I want to see, but I know they're not going to do it until they get it refined. Maybe next year. Hopefully, maybe the awesome games done quick, which they do in the winter.
And I'll tell you what, this last day might be the best one.
Yeah, there are some heavy, like you were saying,
Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2. I am.
Can't wait to see that.
An hour and 42 minutes. I'm surprised it takes that long. Feels like a short game. I don't
think there's a whole lot of room for kind of tricking it, right? Exactly. It is a pretty linear game. So.
That's why I'm excited. So I'm excited because I bet they're just like playing the game the way you're supposed to play it, just awesomely. It's probably going to look incredible. I bet that's going to be like one of the most visually pleasing games to watch in this whole thing. But some other huge things. I like Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda.
The Super Mario 64 120-star run. I've seen this a few times now. It's always one of my favorite speedruns. It's so cool. There's all because Mario 64, with all the kind of acrobatic wall jumping and all this weird stuff, it's just a super neat run. And Diablo 2 is always a fun speed run. It's so neat because they do it almost once every year because you do it with a different class and it's a completely different experience. And this time it's with the Assassin, which was one of the DLC classes in the expansion. So I'm really excited for that.
And then Super Hot 22 minutes. I might have mentioned that, but they're ending the whole thing with another long one, which is something they normally do. Where the last game that they play is a long one. It's Earthbound, 4.5 hours.
Right. I
Any
think last
percentage
year Mario
glitchless.
RPG was the last one, so
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Glitchless, which is how I typically prefer these longer games because I like to see like the actual games themselves instead of cutting out hours and hours and hours of the game through jumping through walls or whatever. I probably by then I'll probably be burnt out. We'll see. Earthbound's a game that I've played started a couple times and haven't really gotten into. But 4.5 hours, we'll see. We'll see how I commit myself.
I know. Every time Earthbound gets re-released, I try yet again to play it. I'll probably do it again with the SNES Classic. Like this time I'll beat it. I always get a little further every time, but I'm so it's like, all right. I think part of it is like I just feel bad because I know people love the game and like I never start loving it and I start feeling guilty.
Yeah, like, the last time I played it was finally starting to click with me to the point where I was like, I am really enjoying this. I'm getting kind of the hooks into it where I feel attached to it in the way that some people talk about it, but I just got too busy. So I feel like the next time that I do pick it up is going to be the time I finally get through it. But yeah, or I'll just watch the speed run and that'll be that.
There you go. Good enough.
Yeah. Okay. So, man, that went a lot longer than I was expecting. But so let me explain what we're going to do with this E3 thing. So, I looked at the calendar. We have 7 podcasts before E3.
So we're like picking. I get it.
So I was like, huh. So if we wanted to, we could just kind of take like all the big companies especially all the companies that have E3 presentations, and then that week before E3 we could do a big roundup, and that's everything. That's all of them. So why don't we start, and we'll go in order of the way the presentations are happening. And the first one is on Saturday. It's Electronic Arts. I'm not sure there's going to be a ton to say about them, so it's probably good we took a long time with SGDQ. But what do you expect from EA at E3?
Star Wars, I think. Yeah. They're going to talk a lot about Battlefront 2 because that's the game coming out this holiday.
That'll be the one that's plastered everywhere. I think the LA Convention Center might have Battlefront 2 up on its the big billboard thing that they have every year. I think that's going to be the game.
And I think we'll see like a little bit more like an actual trailer of some kind for the
Amy Hennig.
The Amy Hennig Star Wars game. It'll have like a name. Like we're not going to see a lot. It's not going to be coming out super soon, but we're going to see more of it.
Yeah. What about the Respawn Star Wars game?
No, probably not that one yet.
I feel like we might get a title for that one. So I think we might get a teaser trailer for Amy Hennig, and we might get a title for the Respawn one. Just so they can like really hit home with Star Wars. We have it and we are doing a lot with it. So get Battlefront 2 because that's the way you can really enjoy that until those other games come out. But what else? I mean, we don't have to talk about EA Sports games. We know what.
Well, they've been saying for a while. Yeah, EA Sports. They've been saying for a while. BioWare is working on something new, right? Do we hear about that now? It seems kind of almost.
It's weird.
It seems even this just like 4 months ago that would have been a bigger deal, but it just seems like people aren't going to be as excited about like the new BioWare thing as they used to. And they have so many people like coming out and saying, actually, Mass Effect Andromeda is not that bad. Okay.
It's a weird time because there are people coming out who do enjoy Andromeda, but there's still that huge audience that is in the midst of their BioWare backlash, and it might be a rough time to try out something new from BioWare when they're still trying to pave over the feelings about Andromeda. So that might have to wait for a little bit longer, but who knows? We'll see where we're at when we're there.
Right. But I'm not sure. Battlefield's probably taking a year off because Battlefront's coming out. I'm not sure. Like, what else? Like, other series? Like, we're gonna see Need for Speed again? Maybe people care. I don't know. I think Dead Space is probably done for a bit. I think Mirror's Edge is probably done for a bit.
If you go to upcoming titles from EA,
that's what I'm looking at. There's 3 games.
Yeah, Sea of Solitude, Fee, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't know what those other two are.
And that seems very strange for a publisher the size of Electronic Arts. That we only know about 3 of their games that are coming up.
Yeah, here's some games that have come out recently from them. Mirror's Edge 2, Mass Effect Andromeda, all their sports games. They have UFC as well, so they have a lot of sports game stuff. Do you think? Okay, here's one. Do we get Skate 4?
Yeah,
is that the one?
It all just seems like they should just for the goodwill at this point.
Yeah. I mean, people that don't know, there's like a whole like hashtag skate forward thing that I think got started maybe because of PewDiePie or someone like that. Someone played it on YouTube, and the Skate 3 anyhow they played. Got a lot of people excited about the series again. And EA never really acknowledged it, but I mean, it feels like it's kind of if they really do have a gap in their production, outside of Star Wars, it seems like a kind of game you could make relatively inexpensively. But I don't know. I guess I don't know what their engine's like. But I mean, I'm struggling to think of like what else they could have.
Yeah, me too. Right? It's gotta be. I don't know because they've been so. I don't know.
Do they have like a new Dead Space or something like that? No, because I mean that's going to eat into their Star Wars sales. Like they don't do like another sci-fi.
They've been so Battlefield-y right lately, right?
I mean, it's been working.
It's been mirrors. I mean, gosh, they've been so dependent on DICE, man.
Mm-hmm.
They've been pushing DICE hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've clearly just hired a million other people into other studios that are called DICE that aren't really part of the original DICE, but it's still in that infrastructure. What about like SimCity or The Sims, that stuff from Maxis?
I mean, God, the last SimCity was such a disaster. Even Sims, I mean, they're still making this content for whatever the last Sims was, I think.
How many of these things are, oh man, that last EA thing was such a disaster. Like The Sims, right? Medal of Honor, anything to do
Medal of Honor wasn't disaster, to be fair. It was just kind of a...
But I mean, it was disaster in terms of their expectations for that series, where they were like, this is going to be our off year from Battlefield. We'll go Battlefield and then we'll have Medal of Honor. Battlefield, Medal of Honor. Both of these are going to go toe to toe with Call of Duty.
EA sure is lucky that they can just depend on these certain franchises.
Right.
That
FIFA and Madden and Battlefield are going to just keep making them enough money that they don't have to worry about a lot of other stuff.
Right. And Battlefront 2 is going to make them a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like, are we going to see some sort of new thing? Is it going to be like, It's weird because the stigma used to be like, oh, EA kind of sucks, and then for a bit they didn't suck anymore. It kind of feels like they're starting to suck again.
I mean, they're just suck in the way that it's like uninspiring.
Sure.
They're not the evil empire anymore. Like I think some people used to consider them, but they definitely still run their developers into the ground, and a lot of times those developers are beloved developers from 10 to 20 years ago that aren't making the kinds of games that we want anymore because it just seems like that's the EA story.
I think looking at just how short it is, there's got to be something from Bioware, something, whatever that is.
It might be that. I mean, they might have to just to fill out that their presentation. I mean, Star Wars is going to be most of that.
It is going to be a very Star Wars year for EA, which is fine. Better than nothing. I'll take it. I like Star Wars.
I wish Titanfall was like as big as some of these other games, so they could see what else is coming from that.
Wouldn't this have been a good year for Titanfall 2?
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, like this summer, like right now.
Right.
They were released it right like the end of spring, at the beginning of the summer, right now instead of when they did. I think that game would have. They've been like, oh yeah, this is like another great game in the series, or
just release it the same time as Call of Duty and Battlefield.
That makes perfect sense. Ultima, that's their next game. They're gonna bring back Ultima Online.
Funny.
Yeah, I mean, a Battlefront 2 is probably going to be enough to get them all the attention that they want, and it justifies their EA play because there's going to be that audience that comes out for Star Wars specifically and only Star Wars. So yeah, I mean, they could get by on just having like Battlefront 2 and a few other things in their EA Sports stuff. But I would hope that they would surprise us. I think that's going to be the story with a lot of these, with a lot of our overviews of what's coming from these companies at E3.
They still have the Harry Potter license, right? It feels like nothing's been done with that for a while.
No, it's got to be Warner Brothers, right?
Is it Warner Brothers?
I mean,
I guess so.
You're right. It was them like a long time ago. But if they haven't done it in a long time,
not since the movie ones. Maybe it expired after the movies.
I'm sure it expired, and if it did, it reverted back to Warner Brothers, who.
Somebody's got to be making some kind of Harry Potter game, man. They just like for something that seems so fit for video game, and they haven't tried very hard outside of like the licensed ones.
I think the problem with that is like they're like, oh, that would be perfect for an MMO, and MMOs.
No one wants to make an MMO.
Exactly. Yeah, no one wants to put that.
Especially, that's the problem.
Especially like EA. If EA had that license, EA's like, oh my god, please, we did Star Wars: The Old Republic, and we know. We know.
It is a problem. Like it's a cool franchise, but to make that the Harry Potter game, it's going to be like a lot of work.
Do you remember the Bethesda event last year where that lady was going really crazy for the Elder Scrolls Online?
No.
Like during their thing, like they came out, like I can't remember his name from Bethesda or whatever. But he comes out and they had a pretty strong section on the Elder Scrolls Online, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, get over it!" But there was one lady up front just losing her mind for it because obviously it was like her game, and like that's fine. But do you think that like there's going to be like that for the Old Republic or EA's thing, like when they're doing their Star Wars block, and they spend like their 10 minutes on the Old Republic because
they'll be lucky to give 2 minutes to the Old Republic.
I hope so. I hope you're right, but I bet they're going to do like what Bethesda did, and they're going to spend like significant amount of time because as part of their Star Wars thing, like here's what we're doing with the Old Republic.
It is making them money. They definitely turned it around a bit.
It's just not an E3 kind of thing,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it's like I said, I think we're going to be in this situation with a lot of these companies where we think they're going to need more than what they might actually end up having. And we're not going to really know what they're going to be coming with, which, could be an element or it could be a recipe for surprises, or it could just be, they have what they have and it's disappointment. Okay, Mike, I think that's going to do it for this episode.
Sounds good. I'm tired of your face anyways.
Yeah, power hour. I want you to just get out of my life and go away. So, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Mike, why don't you go ahead, tell everybody where they could find you on this here.
I was writing at GamesBeat, so go to GamesBeat.com, check me out there. I'm Tolkoto, Tolkoto on Twitter, and be sure to go to ebpodcast.com. This is the other podcast I do with my brother AJ. It's also a video game podcast, Exploding Barrel Podcast. That's what EB stands for, if you were curious.
Stands for Erectile Boners.
Nice. Wow. Nice, Jeff.
Man, that was
what
on
are you,
point.
Me?
I feel pretty good about that one. And I am Jeff Grubbers on Twitter. I thought you got over it, Mike. I thought we were done. And you still snuck it in there.
Snuck it in there.
Yeah. I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. I also make videos on YouTube.
I decide when things are done, Jeff, not you.
I could tell last week I was going to pay for that when I said that. I'm right now on YouTube. I'm doing a series where I'm trying to get a perfect 60 points, first place finish, in all of 200cc on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's been fun. It's harder than I was expecting. I wanted to do this on the Wii U, and I'm just going to get it done on the Switch.
You should do it on the Wii U now. That'd really draw me.
I know, that's what the content people
That's
want.
what they want, darn it.
Yeah.
Wii U game.
We hear it every day. We come into work, and there's just email after email. Cover the Wii U more.
It's like
Cover
a lot of Wii U buzz right now, man.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week.